then you might need to think about moving on. It's not a matter of failure. Don't come into my space. It's not a matter of failure. I want to talk a minute about, or expand some more on a comment that came in one of Sapphire's videos. And the comment was, why would you put all that time into a horse that's not really going to amount to a very high level horse? And my response was that every horse deserves a chance to be what they can be. But balancing that out with the other side, is there ever a time when you should give up on a horse? And today I want to talk about balancing that out. Every horse does deserve a chance to be as good as they can be. But at some point, you should give up. Exactly what determines when you give up is what we're going to talk about. Early on in my horse career, I had a horse that was way above my training ability. Way more horse than what I was ready for at the time. And I stuck with her for a very long time. Long enough that it really hindered my progress in my horsemanship. And that's one of the things that you need to take into account. Nobody wants to give up on a horse, but the other side of that is that you reach a point to where you're holding the horse back because you don't have the knowledge or expertise to carry it forward. And the horse is holding you back because you're working with an issue that you're really not ready for. Everything has to kind of come together in an order. And if you have a horse that, needs something that's above your skill level, that's not a good match for you or the horse. Not only is that horse holding you back, but you're holding the horse back. This horse, Lola here, she had some structural issues here in her shoulders. She had some muscular issues that affected how she traveled. She was in pain, but I was able to get her the help that she needed to make herself feel, help her feel better. Quit. It's cool today, but this is warm water that I'm bathing her with. So you have to balance your knowledge, your ability, with your horse and what your horse needs. And that's going to go a long ways towards deciding when is it time to give up. It's not healthy for you to stay working with a horse that is a bad situation. I've seen that a lot, where it almost becomes almost like an abusive relationship, where the horse is taking advantage of the person doesn't know how to stop the cycle, and that's a bad situation for the owner, for the person, but it's also setting that horse up for a really poor future after the horse does leave you. Because you have to think of, if you're not going to have that horse for its whole life, what is that horse's life going to be like after it leaves you? It's pretty common that most horses don't have one owner for their whole life. And I'm not so sure that horses should have one owner for their whole life. That kind of depends on the situation. And whether you are in a situation with your horse where it is bad physically, and by physically I mean a horse is dangerous to you, could cause you injury, or mentally stressful, where you're stressed about giving that horse what that horse needs, then you might need to think about moving on. It's not a matter of failure. Don't come into my space. It's not a matter of failure. Get out of my space. Because look at owning a horse kind of like dating. And as you're trying a horse, you might be with the horse for a year or so, a few months or a year, and if it's a fit, great. If it's not a fit, you might need to move on and try another horse. You're not going to marry the first person that you date, and you shouldn't take the first horse that comes to you and say, this is my forever horse. I hear that term all the time. My heart horse, my forever horse, horse with a forever home. Those are all dreams, and it's okay to hope for those things. But most often, those things are not reality. And you need to be able to separate a desire or a dream from reality. And the idea of falling in love with this horse, your first horse, and it being your heart horse, and you have that horse forever and live happily ever after, sounds good. But in reality with the horse, just like in real life, it rarely works that way. So look at your relationship with your horse realistically, and give your horse what you need, give your horse what the horse needs, and expect the horse to give you back something in return. And if you get to the point where it's not a good situation, it's time to move on. This is Lola. She's going home, so I'm trying to get her cleaned up a little bit to go home. You see she's pretty restless. I'll put a link up here to her playlist on YouTube. Until next time, thank you for watching.